Buonasera. This is my third video today. So I'll get this interesting. You never know what you're going to get with me. I'm like a box of chocolates. When you just hope you don't end up with the coffee flavoured one. So the first one was a walk and talk, and I put some information out that I can't actually verify, even though I know, and most of you know as well. So if you have a look in the community section, the reason why I've got nearly 20 minutes of content from a walk and talk, which was very interesting and entertaining as well, but I can't upload it because the information that I gave out, I can't give you a verifiable source because I can't find my original source. So I've put it in the community section as a question, really, to see if anyone feels comfortable about maybe letting me know, even if it's just by email, and then I'll release that video once that I've got a verifiable source. Because if I haven't, if I can't find one, even though I know, and most of you know, then I can't upload it, and that'll be nearly 20 minutes worth of content that will just never see the light of day. So yeah, a bit of a shame. But happy Friday. So took the girls for a bit of a walk yesterday during the day, and then I took them out at night as well, because I'll tell you why. And normally I'll try and get them out twice a day, especially for Storm. She needs that energy release. But yeah, something happened on the walk during the day, so I had to take them out at night so they could get a proper run, So I was just walking down. I kind of went the opposite way around. Instead of going, over the bridge onto what I call third path. And I went the other way because I saw loads of other dog walkers ahead of me. So I thought, oh, bollocks to that. You've got the hassle of trying to pick up speed to overtake them, and then all the hassle of overtaking them, and then all the hassle of... So anyway, I went the other way around, got all the way down to the bottom, and there was a chap on a push bike with his lights on. And so I to get out of his way, to make sure because he was riding his bike quite slowly, and now I know why. So I went down the bank a little bit so that he could get past. I wasn't sure if he was uncomfortable with the dogs, or I wasn't quite sure why he'd slowed right down. So I just said, "You're all right, mate." I was just, expecting him to kind of carry on. And I climbed back up onto the bank, almost just behind him. And he said, "Are you Rose Hippy Guy?" It was a very, very surreal moment. Very surreal. So I've now met two of our little tribe in the space of, a month? Maybe a bit more, in my own town, a town that most of you guys have probably never heard of before. Considering the size of our little channel, the odds of that were, staggering. And his name's David, and it was because I had time constraints. I had something that I needed to do. So instead of continuing on my walk all the way around, I just kind of headed back in the direction that David was going in, so we could have a chat, you know. And so he got off his bike, turned his lights off, and we just walked together. And he only recognised me because of the girls. I don't think he would have said that if I was on my own. You know, I've only showed my face once, and that, you know, it's forgettable. You know, it was a while back. So he'd recognised, you know, Storm's obviously quite, you know, striking, really. So yeah, we ended up walking back and having a really, really good chat along the way. And yeah, he's a really, really insightful man, you know, with a really interesting take on things. And yeah, so hey up, David. You know, the system is shafting him and his missus, who have both been awake and aware for at least the last 5 years. You know, when COVID happened, he saw straight through that, for many of the same reasons that I did, and most, if not many, of you did. And yeah, you know, he had a few takes on a few things that blew my mind, really, because I'd not looked at certain aspects that I won't go into right now, because it's dodgy ground and I'm on a strike, but I can dance around, you know. So yeah, when we got to the bridge, he was going to carry on towards the next town along the canal, and I was to take a left then to go home. And yeah, he just dropped one thing on me that really got me thinking. And yeah, it blew my mind. So can you imagine all of us lot at some sort of little convention that we'd set up between us? Can you imagine what that would be like? Sharing our take on things, our ideas on things, the way we see things, the way we feel, you know, everything. It would be profound. It would. I'd love that. That's a proper bucket list thing for me, you know. So if things go all right, maybe next year. But I don't know. You know, this is we're right on the cusp now, and I think everyone would agree with that. With the whole election thing in America, you know, it's so polarized over there. It's unbelievable, but it's polarized because it's been made to look polarized. Again, it's mainstream media. You know, even Fox, you know, they're not squeaky. They cut things off certain parts of their interviews and stuff like that when they're kind of going down a road that they don't really want to go down because they're controlled, you know. So I'm expecting a seriously from nowhere black swan event of some sort this year. It'll raise our eyebrows. It'll freak a lot of other people out, but it'll just raise our eyebrows because we're ready for it. I think the prepper mindset. And is there a difference between a prepper and a survivalist? I don't think there is. I think there's a sliding scale of preparedness, and with that sliding scale, you know, it comes the mindset as well. So you start off putting enough away, 3 weeks worth extra, back up, right up to, you know, people that have got homesteads and potentially completely self-sufficient, more or less, you know. So there is a sliding scale of preparedness, but I think the prepper mentality, I think we're all survivalists because we'll do whatever it takes to survive, you know, whilst trying to hold on to our morals, you know. So yeah, hi David, hope you're all right, mate, and hope to bump into you again so you can leave my brain in tatters again. You see, this is something that I have said in previous videos, that with age comes wisdom. It does. Not in all cases. You know, I've met some elderly people, or you know, pensioners and what have you, senior citizens that have been absolute bastards. You know, complete bastards, and they've probably been bastards all their life. But to people that have, you know, got to a certain age and they've managed to hold on to their humanity, they're a well of knowledge and life experience. And I absolutely love people like that. I love them. You know, they were the original Google. You know, if you wanted to know something, go and speak to Grandad. Go speak to Grandma, or great granddad, or great grandma. You know. So I've been using a lot of my dehydrated mushrooms up. I built up quite a supply over a relatively short period of time, of just getting them in, especially when they're reduced, and then chopping them up and dehydrating them. So I've worked through quite a chunk of them now. So I'm gonna build up my. I know now. For me, disclaimer: don't use out-of-date food unless you feel comfortable in your own skin. It's not on me. Yeah, so I know that for me, dehydrated mushrooms can last easy a year and a half from fresh to dehydrated, vac packed. So yeah, I need to top up on my mushroom supply. I know you can get tins, you know, but yeah. I have started getting a bit more. I have thought about it, and I thought, while sugar, even this horrible refined stuff, well, that didn't seal very well. I think I'm going to need another vacuum sealer, because this one's playing up now, and this is my second one. But hey, that just goes to show that you're prepping. You know, when your equipment starts to need replacing. So yeah, I have started getting a bit more refined sugar in, you know, and make sure you put stuff like that on there, because it is indefinite, you know. If it's sealed, if it's not like that, if it's solid, all the air's gone out of it. But even then, you know, none of my stuff is in Mylar. I've not got a single thing in Mylar apart from anything that I've bought that came in Mylar, because I wanted to try and go down the route of being able to prep on a budget, and Mylar is expensive. It's expensive, you know. If you get a bag of 20 Mylar bags, say 20 by 10 centimeters or something like that, and then you look at these bags, and you know, so over time, Mylar, it doesn't really degrade, not you know, not decent Mylar bags. Whereas with these, if you put them in, if they're being kept somewhere that's gets a little bit too hot, then gets a little bit really cold, you know, years and years of that, the plastic is going to start to degrade, and it's going to work its way into your sugar, and then you've got microplastics in your sugar and whatever else you've packed away. So that's just something to bear in mind. And that's one of the reasons I was really chuffed with that 2020 prep tub that I opened up, that had been through extreme temperatures for 4 years, and the packaging was immaculate. And the packaging of your preps, whether it's cans or whether it's plastic or whatever it comes in, that's an aspect of prepping that more preppers or with channels need to be addressing. The packaging, or trying to come up with other ways of storage without it breaking the bank. We should be helping each other. So going back to that post that's in the community tab. So we've got Prince William, who, or let's just call him William. The whole Prince and King thing. I'll get onto that in a minute as well. Just for a bit of a laugh. He's basically saying we're going to do this documentary, and it's about trying to solve our homelessness problem, which is growing. It's growing exponentially. It's ridiculous. Because people were defaulting on their mortgage, and so many of them, because of all the shit that they've been throwing at us at least over the last 5 years, it stressed a lot of people out. It stressed them all out to the point where they don't want any more hassle at the moment. Everyone's got a limit. And so they don't really, a lot of people don't know about the whole mortgage scam thing, which is where it's printed out of nothing. It's printed out of nowhere. That money it comes from nowhere. It's nothing. It starts from nothing. Just digits on a screen. That's it. And then it's your graft, your fucking graft, that earns real money, or real cash, if you like, real wealth, back into the system and to the mortgage companies. So it's like me saying, I'll lend you £1 without giving you £1, and then you give me £1 back. Once you've earned it. So getting back to Prince William, he's basically saying that we need to solve the homeless problem, and we need to do it. Us, right? Now, me trying to read between the lines on that, it sounds to me like this is him spearheading a campaign, maybe, because there are still a lot of dithery twats out there that look at him and think he's all right. I mean, his brother's a little bit off the road, but William's got his head together. He's a lovely lad. He's a nice bloke. He'll make a great king. There are people out there that actually think like that. Lots of them. So someone like him spearheading a campaign to reduce homelessness by, if you've got a spare bedroom, we'll pay you X amount of money. If you've got 2 spare bedrooms, three spare bedrooms, we'll pay you extra money. We'll give you money to house people for us. And guess who those people are? Guess who those people will be? And that's another thing. This walk and talk. I did a great little. There was a brilliant little section. I hope I can. I don't want to tell you much more about that, because if I release it, it was all right. It was a decent walk and talk, but I need that information. I need to know whether or not Serco is connected. Okay. And because I know it is, you know, I know it is. Gary Waterman put it across in a couple of ways and made pure sense. There's a tie-up, a connection there, but he's gone completely dark. And yeah, I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right, you know. Again, if he's for real, which I don't doubt he is. I think he might have read into things a little bit too deeply and made some connections that maybe seemed like they were there, but maybe weren't there. I don't know. Who knows? But he did seem and come across as very legit. And I'd shared one of his videos before anyone had heard of him. But yeah, it did feel like he was opening a can of worms there. But yeah, I need to make that connection. I need to have a viable source to enable me to upload tonight's walk and talk. Yeah, so who knows? I mean, this could be spearheading. So people, like I said, people are on their arse. People are worried about losing their homes. People don't want to take a fourth job on to make sure they can keep their head above water, you know? So this could be, you know, if you need an income and you think you can do it, maybe look into fostering, you know, something like that, as opposed to opening your house up to invaders. You know, when people get desperate, they make silly decisions that they end up regretting, and this is why you don't want to let fear into your hearts, and this is why you need to try and maintain composure. You'll find a way. You will. So yeah, if anyone can find out any information and email it to me, feel free to email me. You know, who knows, you know, these emails could be, or, you know, I'm pretty sure everything is it's just data, you know, that's the new gold. That's where all the money is, data, at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, who would have thought that data would have been a currency one day? And talking of currencies, the whole BRICS thing, I don't know where I'm going with this chat tonight, so I might end it abruptly because I don't want any awkward silences, you know? So the whole BRICS thing, because gold is like a very global commodity in many ways, right? So BRICS apparently is allegedly going to be mainly backed by gold. Now, considering about 80% of gold on Earth has already been mined and refined, you know? So that leaves 20% left in the ground, which is a lot. It's a lot, you know? It's a shitload of gold. A shitload. But at the moment, it's too expensive to mine and get at. Because it's just, you know, it's kind of dotted around here, there and everywhere. So all the, you know, the massive gold deposits where they made massive mines, most of them are pretty much exhausted now. So Gold is finite. It's finite. There's only a certain amount of gold. That's why it's so expensive. And people are snapping up gold left, right, and centre, especially recognisable gold like sovereigns and half sovereigns. And gold's been a reflection of various economies and currencies, you know. So when inflation goes up and up and up, gold reflects that. So so when they turn around to you and say, well, this month interest rates have gone up by 0.1%, yet you go and buy a jar of coffee and it's gone up by 25-30%. So that's a contradiction there. And then you look at your mortgage rates and all of the other rates and all of the price increases everywhere else. It's basically because the notes in your purse or your wallet are becoming less valuable. Well, they're worth nothing anyway. Just paper. You know? England was bankrupt after halfway. Some people would say before. I'd say halfway between halfway in the middle of World War II. And the debt that we had versus the gold reserves that we had didn't match at all. And then Gordon Brown flogged it off like it was silver, you know, just who to? Oh, that pumpkin. So gold has been a very accurate representation throughout modern history of how high inflation is. Always. In modern times. Since the introduction of fiat, you know, whether it's the dollar or the pound or the euro. So gold is your indicator, not the news, but you know that anyway. So the BRICS nations, right? They're going to have loads of teething problems because it's a brand new. You know, we're witnessing what appears possibly to be the end of one empire and the growth of another. You know, because it happens, it does. But I'm just hoping it happens with a massive degree of freedom. You know, in the good sense. So for a very, 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 very long time, the price of silver has been kept artificially low for a very, very long time. Considering how much it's used, or how much it's stored as like a backup, you know, to preserve your wealth, people's wealth. People have invested in gold, silver, platinum, Bitcoin, you know, taking their money and putting it in loads and loads of different pots. So if that pot, and that pot fails, they're not completely on their arse. They can fall back on that, then try and work out what to do with that money, you know, or that wealth. You know, we're not talking about fiat paper and coins that are made from stainless steel and alloys. Worth fuck all. So silver's been kept artificially low for a very, very long time by some very, very powerful people in the banking industry. I'll leave you to do your own research. But now BRICS has started up, right? I genuinely do believe that the true value of silver is going to become apparent, because it's just used in so much. And again, silver, albeit not as finite as gold, is still finite. It is, which is why it's valuable. So, this is a Britannia. So it's a recognisable coin. That is 1 troy ounce of silver. Now, the better you can keep, the better condition you can keep your coins in, the better. You know, especially with things like sovereigns or half sovereigns or anything like that. Or, you know, if you're rich enough, if you've got a few Krugerrands, that's an ounce. That's an official, globally recognised ounce of gold, a Krugerrand, which I believe is South African. And I mean, this is in mint condition. The only downside, I've tried to get there's some shit on the back of it. Really, really horrible shit. Oh, it makes me feel. I'll turn it over and show you. I've tried everything to try and get it off, but it's just, there, look. There. I've tried to get it off. Just can't get it off. It's horrible. Gross. Fucking gross. Look at it. You know, I've even tried the whole spit and polish thing, and although that was quite pleasurable to some degree, it didn't work. So I'll turn it back over. Oh, we're at 32 minutes and I'm still going. So I believe that America's gone past 35.5 trillion now. These are just words in debt. These are all just words now. When I was a kid, if you know, when I was a kid, here I am again. When I was a lad. That won't happen very often though, because I'm going to keep myself in check. I don't want to be one of them. But I think it's inevitable. Oh. So yeah, if I heard like, you know, he's a millionaire, I'd be like, wow, you know. And I can talk to millionaires, I can talk to homeless people, and I'll talk to them exactly the same. No difference, none. And they'll both find me relatable. I guarantee it. Even though I'm not an extrovert. It's odd. So yeah, millionaires, when someone turned around and said, you know,